Hola, Pilgrims. This video is going to be a little bit longer. This will be a few rules of Pilgrim and albergue etiquette. And I hope you'll watch it even though it's a longer video because I have a bit to say about this that I think will help you have a better Camino. I'm going to be reading a lot of it from my blog post for people that don't really want to read the blog. So you can also find the post on my website at caminosantiago2.blogspot.com if you do a search on Pilgrim etiquette. I'm going to apologize ahead of time. I have multiple chemical sensitivities, and sometimes when I eat something, it causes me to cough. So I'll try not to break your eardrums, but I probably will be coughing through this video. Okay, let's start. When you're walking with me or with Joe on the Anti-Walkers group, you almost always have private rooms. But there will be sometimes when you're sharing space with other pilgrims. That would be in St. Jean-Pied-de-Port if I can't get private rooms for us. And then again at Roncesvalles because we're going to stay in the big pilgrim albergue there. Gosh, I'm sorry. Okay, if you do your best to play by these rules, you'll have a much nicer Camino. So let's start with this one. You're the foreigner. You're the visitor there. When you're in Spain, do not criticize the people, their way of life, their town, their food, their customs, their religion, or anything else about them. James Michener has a great quote. It says, if you reject the food, ignore the customs, fear the religion, and avoid the people, you might better stay at home. And I agree with this. I mean, if you're going to be so unhappy that you have to be telling them how to live their lives and all the things they're doing wrong, then just stay home and do it in your own country. These are numbered, and I may or may not keep the numbering. It just depends on how I feel and how this goes. I've tried to record this maybe 4 times, and this is the last time, even if there are bloopers. I need someone to help me make better videos, I think. Okay, 2. A bed in a church or a municipal shelter is a privilege, not a right, and it should be treated as such. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is, if all these little gîtes and refugios and albergues, both parochial and municipal and private, I guess all 3, disappeared tomorrow, very few people could afford to make a pilgrimage, because if you had to pay hotel prices, if you had to walk for 6 weeks and every day for 6 weeks or every night for 6 weeks you had to pay 100 euros or more to stay in a hotel room, most people couldn't afford to go. So it's really a privilege to have just a roof over your head and a bed. In older times, a lot of times people would sleep in a hayloft or in a ruin, or they'd have to camp. Now we have these nice little places along the way, especially on the Camino Frances, where we have a bed. So it's a right, okay? Don't complain about the price if you're paying for a private. And if you are staying in a donativo, let me remind you that donativo means donation. It does not mean free. What does your donation pay for? It pays for the electricity, if there's electricity. It pays for the hot water. It pays for cleaning supplies. It pays for washing the sheets at night, if they do that. It pays for buying supplies like blankets or pillows. And sometimes it pays for someone to clean. Now, sometimes there'll be a hospitalero or hospitalera who is a person who has volunteered and they're not getting paid, but there are other costs. There's rent, there are taxes on the building. So give a generous donation. Now, during COVID times, many places aren't feeding you, but in the past, a lot of places, especially parochials, would have a family-style dinner at night, and they would give you breakfast in the morning, and that was included, even though it's donativo. Who pays for that food? You do. The pilgrim tonight pays for the food for the pilgrim tomorrow. So if you go in there and all you get is bread and water for dinner, that means yesterday people didn't leave enough donation to pay for food for you today. So keep that in mind and give a generous donation. And what do I mean by that? Okay. If I'm staying in a place that's pretty run down, it's not really clean, the beds aren't clean, but I'm getting a bed and a roof over my head so I don't have to sleep in the rain, I'll probably leave 8 to 10 euros as a donation. If the beds are clean and there's a hospitalera there who's kept the showers clean, I'll probably pay a little more, maybe 12 to 15 euros. If I'm getting food, I'm going to pay 15 to 20 euros because think about what it would cost you. A Pilgrim's platter in town is going to be anywhere from 8 to 12 euros. Okay. Breakfast is going to be probably 3 to 5 euros, even if you just get coffee and a roll, plus your bed. So add all that up and give a generous donation. It does not mean free. And if you can afford to, give more because they have costs and those need to be covered by you. And it's a heck of a lot cheaper than a hotel room somewhere. So don't be stingy. Give a good donation. Number 3, if you're able-bodied and you've scored a lower bunk. Okay, sometimes when you pay, they will give you a number, a bed number. They'll actually assign you a bunk. Sometimes you can go in and choose any bed you want. But when you're assigned a bunk and you're assigned a lower bunk, and someone comes along who has an upper bunk, and you can see that they're elderly or they would have trouble getting up because they're injured, offer to take the upper bunk and give them your bunk. Now, I'll tell you a little secret. If there are bed bugs in a set of bunk beds, they're most likely to be in the lower bunk. And that's why I always take an upper bunk anyway. Bed bugs crawl, as I've told you over and over and over again. They crawl, they'll go up to the lower mattress, and they'll drop. So if you're in the top bunk, you have less chance of getting bed bugs than if you're in the lower bunk. Now, that said, this is not a scientific fact. This is based on my own experience and what I've seen over the years. So take it or leave it. Use just one bunk. This is number 4. The surrounding bunks are not for your overflowing goods. If you want to unpack and repack your pack, you do it on your bed, not on an empty bunk. People don't want your stuff on their bed. Number 5, the space under the bunk is generally shared by both occupants. So post-COVID or pre-COVID, if there were 2 people in a bunk bed, you'd share the space under the bed. You'd put your shoes under there, maybe your walking poles. The chair next to the bed is also shared. If you have a lower bunk and there's a chair next to the bed, that's not your chair. That's for both people to sit and put their shoes on in the morning or to use. That's not for you to put your backpack on. If you want to put your backpack on a chair, go ask the hospitalera if there are extra chairs that you can use. Better yet, take a bungee cord or some kind of rope or hook that will allow you to hang your pack up on the upper bunk. This is if you're in the upper bunk. If you're in the lower bunk, you need to ask the person in the upper bunk if they mind if you put the pack up there. They may not want your backpack on their bed. If they say no, you still have another option, and actually it's one of 2 options. You can get on Amazon.com or go to REI and you can get a really lightweight, nice heel bag that zips over your backpack. And the reason for this bag is if you were to check your bag on the flight, you could wrap your backpack in this so your straps don't get caught up when they're putting it on that moving thing. I can't remember what you call it. Like when they put your pack on something that moves, it doesn't get caught up. I don't suggest you check your pack. I suggest you carry it on. But I would buy one of these and put it inside my pack because you can spray it with permethrin before you leave. And then at night, you can wrap your pack up in that and leave it on the floor. The other thing is just to get a large size plastic garbage bag and wrap your pack up in that at night to leave it on the floor if you're concerned about bed bugs. Don't put your pack on the bed. I know in older posts or in older times you would put your pack on the bed to save it. They really discourage that these days because there are so many pilgrims coming through. And those packs have been on the dirty ground where there's cow manure and God knows what else. So don't put your backpack on the bed. Also, if you have bed bugs in your pack from pack transport or another reason, you're going to put bed bugs into the bed. So it's really discouraged and you'll be scolded often if you put your backpack on the bed. Share clothesline space. This is number 7. Somehow I've jumped all the way up there. If things are filling up, adjust your laundry on the clothesline so other people have space too. Pin 2 things together, whatever. Consider taking your own little clothesline, and if you're in a bottom bunk, you can stretch it across the poles and just hang your stuff there on your bed, and that gives you some privacy. I do that a lot, actually, if I have a bottom bunk. Try the Rick Steves website. He has a store that has travel things, and you can find really nice little elastic lines. I like the ones with Velcro on the ends. Take safety pins to hang your clothes up so they don't blow or walk away. I have little containers like this to put my safety pins in. You squeeze them and they pop open. I keep my safety pins in those. And I buy diaper-sized or large-sized safety pins for hanging my laundry. The safety pins keep the laundry from blowing off, so if it's windy, your clothes won't blow away. They also won't walk away if someone looks at something like your nice microfiber towel and decides they'd like to have it. It takes a lot more stealth to take off a safety pin than a clothespin. If you're cooking a meal in the albergue, offer to share with other pilgrims. Communal cook-ups are a lot of fun. If you have leftovers, put them in a container and put a note that says free and stick them in their fridge. Sometimes people will come in and they've missed the dinner hour or they haven't been able to find a grocery store and they're hungry, and it's so nice to open the refrigerator and find a free pot of macaroni and cheese or soup or something in there. It's really nice. Also, sharing food with others. If you're cooking in the kitchen, get in, cook your food, and get out. Don't stay in there for hours cooking unless you plan on cooking for the entire albergue. Other people need to cook, need to eat, and finish also. So it's not just your kitchen, it's everybody's kitchen. So share it and make space for others. Clean up when you finish. The hospitalera has so much to do the next morning. She does not want to have to wash your pots and pans and your dishes and clean up your mess on the stove and the sink. Clean up after yourself. Your mother is not there with you. And if she is, ask her to clean up for you. But don't leave it for the hospitalera. Practice kindness. Share a Band-Aid or food or water. If you see someone in distress, ask them what's wrong and see if there's something that you can help them with. On my very first Camino, I overpacked. I had a huge backpack, was carrying it every step of the way like I was supposed to. On my walk down into Roncesvalles, I was in so much pain. I was crying, big crocodile tears. My feet hurt so bad and I was so tired, and I just didn't see how I was going to make it down. A big bus stopped at the top of the hill and let off a bunch of pilgrims, and they had these little tiny day packs on their back, and they were running down the hill just laughing. And it pissed me off because I was so tired, and I couldn't believe it. It was like, where's their backpack, and how can they just take a bus to the top? Why aren't they walking? I was very judgmental as a first-time pilgrim, as first-time pilgrims often are. So I was just crying. A woman stopped. She saw me crying, and she said, "Are you okay?" And that just made me boo-hoo all the louder. And she didn't speak English. She took out of her pack a little candy bar, like a little chocolate bar like you give away at Halloween, and she gave that to me. That moment is one of the moments I remember on the Camino as being life-changing. It changed my Camino. It got me into Roncesvalles. That little tiny chocolate bar gave me the strength, and her kindness gave me the strength to get into Roncesvalles. Otherwise, I think I would have just sat down and given up. So don't, your kindnesses don't have to be huge ones. They could be a small one, like giving someone a bottle of water or a little candy bar that might see them through their day. I really appreciated that, and I've always remembered it. If you can, offer help. Don't expect special treatment. Just because you're a pilgrim, you're not going to get special treatment. And in fact, sometimes you'll get rude treatment. Suck it up. Don't get pissed off. Just take it. If you go into a restaurant, especially now during COVID, and a Spanish family comes in after you and they are served first, don't get upset. They live there. They've probably made reservations. Maybe they come in every night. You don't know. Just don't expect any special treatment. Now, sometimes you will get special treatment. Some people will be very kind to you because you're a pilgrim. Others, not so much. Maybe they're not so happy that you're like locusts descending on their town. So suck it up. Don't worry about it. Don't expect special treatment. At night in the albergue, or even in private lodging, put your phone and alarm on vibrate or turn them off at night so your alarm doesn't disturb or wake up your fellow pilgrims. People are exhausted when they get in. They want to sleep. They don't want to get up at 5 in the morning when your alarm goes off. They want to sleep till 7 maybe. So keep your phone and your alarm on vibrate so you don't bother everybody else. If you have to make a call after 9 or 9:30 at night or after lights out, go outside and go away from the windows where the tired pilgrims are sleeping. Go to a bar or go to a park. Go somewhere where they don't have to hear you making your call. I don't want to hear you talking to your husband back home or your friend in the next village. I want to sleep. So again, be a good visitor, be a good pilgrim, and go away and do your talking somewhere else. Same thing goes if you're listening to music in your bed at night, even through earphones. If your earphones are so loud that I can hear them in the bunk next to you or the bunk above you, it's way too loud. Turn the volume down. I shouldn't be able or have to hear your music. If you plan to leave early in the morning, prepare your things the night before to minimize the racket you're going to make the next morning. It doesn't take much to get everything ready the night before. So all you have to do is get out of bed, pick up your bag, and walk out. A lot of times if I'm sleeping in albergues and walking by myself or with Joe, I'll put the clothes on the night before that I'm going to wear tomorrow. And I'll sleep in those. So the next morning all I have to do is get up, put my shoes on, grab my pack, and go. Don't pack in grocery store bags. Those plastic bags rattle and make so much noise. They drive everybody crazy. Either purchase Nysil bags or make cloth bags, or if you simply can't afford it and you have to use plastic bags, go into another room to pack your bag up in the morning. Don't do it in the albergue, waking everybody up. When you leave or you walk through a village very early in the morning, do so quietly. Some people in Spain don't have to be at work until maybe 10 o'clock in the morning. Maybe they're going to sleep till 8 or 9. Don't be talking really loud or singing songs or playing music or going click, 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 click with your poles. Be quiet, and feel free to tell other pilgrims to be quiet also. Politely remind them if you feel like it. If you tend to snore, don't drink a lot of wine the night before because it makes you reverberate. If you tend to snore loudly, you might consider booking a private room. If you snore loudly and use a CPAP, you definitely may want to consider another room. If you can't afford it, you can stay in the albergue, that's fine. But if you can afford it, get a private room. It's not that much more expensive. Or even pair up with another pilgrim and get a double twin room. It's almost the same price as you would pay in some albergues. Be sure you purchase some good earplugs so others don't annoy you. I don't have them here with me right now, but I use these little tiny spongy earplugs. Sometimes they're called Heroes, Hearos. They're really inexpensive. I sometimes get 10 or even 100 to a pack. And you can just stuff them in your ears. They're very soft and pliable, and you can't hear anything when those things are in your ears. I really like them much more than I do expensive earplugs. But get some good earplugs. Chances are you're going to need them. And even if you're booking privates, get earplugs, because a lot of times there'll be a fiesta in a town that you don't know is going to happen, and there'll be fireworks and guns and stuff going on till 2 or 3 in the morning. Actually, they usually close down at midnight, but sometimes afterwards. So get some good earplugs and take them along. Don't complain about the noise. A lot of times if you're in town or in a private, they'll have those metal shutters that come down, and I have a blog on how to use those. They're difficult to use if you don't know what you're doing, but a lot of times when those are down, it will not only darken the room, but it'll shut out all the noise. So that's a good thing to read on my blog and learn how to do. Don't leave your things on the floor in the albergue. I don't want to get up to use the bathroom in the middle of the night and trip over your shoes or your pack or your bottle or whatever you've left on the floor. Put it under your bed or pack it up. Wash up what you dirty. Clean after yourself. There's no maid there. And again, if your mother's there, great. But if she's not, clean up after yourself. Showers. Get in that shower, soap up, rinse off, and get out. Don't be one of those people who gets in the shower and washes their hair and washes and then sits under the hot water till the hot water's gone, leaving cold water for the next person and leaving a line of pilgrims waiting for you to get the hell out of there. Get in, get wet, soap up, rinse off, and get out. Okay? You're not at home. Don't take long showers. Also, a lot of those places have a very small hot water heater, if they have one at all, because some places have cold showers. So if you've got hot showers, boy, you are lucky. Get in and get out so everybody else can get a shower too. When you leave the shower, take your hair out of the drain. I don't want to have to clean your hair out of the drain. And there's nobody cleaning in between showers, okay? If you've used a plastic hotel thing of soap or shampoo and it's empty, don't drop it on the floor. Pick it up and take it out with you. I just don't want to have to clean up after you. Clean up after yourself. Be an adult and be respectful. In the albergues, don't steal the toilet paper tomorrow morning. Don't take the whole damn roll of toilet paper when you leave. Purchase your own paper. These, see the post I did on toileting and the video I did on toileting. You can purchase big bags of these, like a dozen to 2 dozen for €2 or €3, and either stick them in your pack and in your pocket, or share them with other people. Don't steal the toilet paper. The budget doesn't allow for everybody in the albergue to take a roll of toilet paper when they leave. Just don't do it. It's horrible to get up and use the toilet in the albergue and then find that there's no paper. It's really not very nice. If you have a cold or a flu, get a private room. Let me say that again. If you have a cold or a flu, or you have an upset stomach with diarrhea, or you're vomiting, get a private room until you're no longer contagious. Especially now during COVID, to make someone else sick, to expose them to your illness, is not a very nice thing. You could even kill somebody these days. So don't ruin someone else's Camino. One time in Ages, a woman was there, and she was actually a Spanish woman. You could tell by looking at her, she had a fever, she had chills, she was sweating, and she was coughing and sneezing. And there were probably 50 other people in that room. Weeks later down the Camino, I met up with people who got very, very sick because they stayed in there that night with her. That was not a nice thing to do. She should have paid for a private room for the days that she was sick, okay? Don't do it. Do not leave your toilet paper along the Camino. Watch the video that I did on that, or read the blog. This is a huge issue with me. It's women. Ladies, it is women. Don't do it. You wouldn't like it if I peed in your front yard and left my toilet paper there. So don't do it on the Camino. I don't want to have to walk over it, see it, pick it up. Pick up your damn paper. Get a handkerchief that folds up. You can put it in a little Ziploc bag. Wipe yourself. Put it in a Ziploc bag. Carry it in your pocket. And when you get to the albergue and get your shower, you can wash it out and let it dry for tomorrow. Please take care of your own business. Don't leave it all along the route for other people to say or to see and to pick up. And that said, I will say it again. I have seen tampons. I have seen sanitary napkins. I have seen panty liners strewn along the Camino. It's disgusting. What a horrible thing for a woman to do. Please don't do it. Pick up after yourself and let's clean up the Camino. Try to do your toileting in the hotel or the albergue before you leave. If you have to use a toilet in a bar or restaurant along the way, buy something. Buy something. And if you don't buy something, leave a €1 tip and tell them it's for the toilet. Because they have to buy toilet paper, they have to have their septic tanks pumped, someone has to clean the place. It's not, again, it's a privilege, okay? So pay for it. If you see a receptacle in the bathroom next to the toilet, use it. It's for your paper, so you don't stop up their septic system. I know it's new to us, but do it. Flush only bodily business and toilet paper in the places where you can. Don't put sanitary napkins or tampons. They go in the trash receptacle. Don't steal the paper there either. Have patience with shopkeepers and hoteliers. They sometimes get frustrated. There's so many pilgrims speaking so many languages, making so many demands of them. Sometimes by the end of the day or by the end of the week, they're just tired of you guys. So have patience with them. Smile, be kind, and do whatever you can do to make their job easier. When you're in Spain, people speak Spanish. They don't speak Dutch, Italian, French, English, Portuguese, Chinese, Korean, Japanese. They speak Spanish, so learn some Spanish. Yes, sometimes people that are on the Camino, work on the Camino for years, do understand a bit of these different languages. But it's Spain. Learn to speak some Spanish. This is a funny one, but it's important. No toca la fruta. Do not touch the fruit. If you're shopping for fruit or vegetables in a place where it's small and they have little boxes of fruit, you can't pick it up and prod it and see if it's ripe. They don't want you touching it, especially during COVID now, but even before so. You point to what you want and let them hand it to you. I promise it's ripe. They only pick out boxes of fruits and vegetables that are ready to eat, so don't touch it. If you are in a supermercado, a larger supermarket, then it's okay to pick out your own fruit if there is not an attendant there. You would put it in a bag. There's usually a scale there. You put the bag on the scale, you push a button, and a little sticky tag will come out that has the weight and how much it costs. You take that and you put it on your bag and take your fruit to the front to pay for it. But in the little places, don't touch the fruit. No toca la fruta. I think that's about it for rules. Let me see if I see anything else really quick. Oh, I want to talk to you about churches. When you go into the churches, even if you're an atheist, have respect, please. Men, take off your hat, even if it's just a ball cap. Women, you can keep your hats on. If you're dressed really skimpily, like you have spaghetti straps or short shorts on, please put a shawl or a big scarf or something over you or around you to cover up a bit, because they like you to be covered up in church. Don't walk around looking at all of the art and talking to each other during a service. If there's a mass going on, it could be a funeral. Have some respect. Don't talk to each other. Don't even whisper to each other. Sit down, wait for it to be over, and then get up and go around and look. Don't take photographs during a mass, please. Have respect for the people there and for their church service, whether or not you are Christian. Let's see, what else can I say? I think that is probably enough. Speak to people, say hello, say buenos dias. If someone says buen camino to you, you can say igualmente, that means same to you. Or you can say buen camino or bon caminho if you're on the Portuguese route. But speak to people. They like it. And if you're friendly, they'll almost always be friendly. Okay, I guess that's it for things to know about etiquette. Have a wonderful Camino. I hope this has helped you. I'm going to sign off now, and I'll talk to you later. Buen Camino.